while I'm sad. You've been out all night, know you've been bad. Don't tell me different, know it's a lie. Come to me, honey, see how I cry.
Hello, and welcome to the Recovery Show with Bernie Z. That's me. Today, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about step one. And the thing that we need to remember is addiction is addiction is addiction, but we all have one place we have to start, and that is admitting the problem. And that's where step one is. We admitted we were powerless over our addiction, that our lives had become unmanageable. Now, I changed it from gambling to our addiction because everybody has some sort of addiction, whether they want to admit it or not. Cam Newton just played the Super Bowl, and his addiction was winning. And how did he respond when he lost? He didn't accept the loss. He got all upset. We tend to do that too with our addiction. You know, in the beginning of our recovery, we accept, maybe there's a problem there. But until we accept that it is a problem and that we have no control over it, that it's something that is pure luck, really. I mean, winning and losing a Super Bowl, that's how you play on any given day. And I'll tell you what, on any given day, you could be sick, you could be healthy, you could die. You could have a child, you could get married. All these different events. The only thing you have control over is choosing whether to be there or not whether it's how it's going to go. And that's where we have to realize we're powerless. We can't control that. Like I've told in past stories about how I went to a meeting and passed the test and all that stuff, left out of there knowing I had a problem, but thinking I'm not that bad, and realizing was that bad when not only did I leave that meeting, but I went straight from there to a local gas station, which was that has convenience stores, like we all know, and bought $1 scratch-off ticket. At that point, after hearing that people tell about how they went to prison, how they went to jail, how they ended up in the hospital, all the different things that happened to them, losses of family and stuff. And that's something I can relate to. I lost some family too. Marriage is something that once trust is gone, it's hard to rebuild it. And I ended up divorced. But I didn't let that, and it was my decision to divorce, not the ex. The ex simply wanted separation, but knowing how my addiction had been so destructive, it was not a wise move to stay when there was always that threat of divorce. So that became so unmanageable, I let things go. I began to realize not only that I had a problem, but that problem had all these other things that affected it. So that's where we are. We have to admit that we don't have the power to fix it by simply stopping. I mean, people will say, why don't you just stop? Why don't you just this? Why don't you just that? And they don't understand that it's like going into a restaurant. You want the whole meal. You want the whole experience. So they don't understand that it's a powerlessness thing. It's powerless to do anything about what the urge is. I mean, I'm powerless about whether my lungs keep going. My mind tells me to breathe, but at any time, it could stop. With asthma, you get wheezy and that kind of thing. So those are things to think about. And that's what we need to realize, is that we lose control of our lives because of our addiction. We can't control it. And that's not because we're weak or we're not a good person. It's because it's an addiction. It's something that continually comes on. We have a mind that tells our lungs to breathe and tells our arms to move, helps you to talk, allows you to think the words out. But you're powerless over whether that's going to work or not. A blood vessel bursts, and you no longer speak because of a stroke. A heart attack, and you're down, and you're dead. We have control over the environment around it, but we don't have control over what happens. And that is something hard to admit. So today, here's the question. Have you admitted that you got a problem and that you can't do anything about it alone? And that's the key. You can't do it alone. And that's why the anonymous groups and all the different groups come up, is because people realize you can't do it by yourself. It's a group effort, because if one's having problems, they need to have somebody they can call that's been there, that's done that knows that there's a problem. So that's where we're at. So today, let's all think about admitting that we are powerless, that we have no control over our addiction, and that it's beginning to destroy things. We can't manage the destruction with lies and such. Thanks. Have a good day.
While I'm sad, you've been out all night, know you've been bad. Don't tell me different, know it's a lie. Come to me, honey, see how I cry.